Okay guys, welcome to my next setup, and it's again in the Ruf Gt3 around Spa. There was a few little issues with setup, mainly through a rouge in qualifying race fuel, but in race it was pretty safe. You'll see now, but it's mainly the line you need to take. You need to get over to the left here as much as you can, then chuck it into right, but avoid that curb on the right. If you skim that curb, you're going to spin the car out and go completely off track. Anyway, we're going to go down into the chicane up ahead, and we're going to brake just a little bit before the curb on the left. You'll see now we're going to really brake hard just before we hit the curb down left, and we're going to go down into third gear. Don't go into second gear, stay in third gear, skimming the apexes, and then hard on the power through this corner here now, and then into fourth on the exit, just to stop yourself running a little bit wide. We run into fourth, and then we're going to go down into fifth, and then down into second gear for this tight right hander. And you want to stay as tight in as you can on this corner and get on the power as early as possible. Then we're going into third gear for the left hander, and then again on the power nice and early. Use a bit of the curb if need be. Don't run too wide there or you can lose the back end. And then we're going to go through the gears, then we're going to go down into fourth gear and turn in early, skim the curb there on the left, then hard on the power all the way through the corner. You want to really get on the power as early as possible, just to keep the momentum going into the next corner. And then you're coming into the right hander where we're going down into third gear. Again, you want to stay as tight into the right as you can, and then again tight into the left as you can, and early on the power, as early as you can get on the power. You're gaining quite a few hundreds there. Then down into third gear for the right hander, and then hard on the power again, keeping hard on the power through here. You may have to give a little lift just to stop yourself running wide. We nearly ran wide, we just managed to keep it in the white lines, but if you give yourself a little lift and then back on the power, you normally don't lose too much time. You will lose a bit, but not too much. And then we're coming into the fast left hander where you want to really chuck it into the curb and then hard on the power. We ran a little bit wide there, not the best, maybe a little bit too wide, but we got away with it just about. And then we're down into first gear, hard on the brakes, skimming the curb, then skimming the curb again, then hard on the power coming out of the exit there. You really want to be hard on the power through that exit. And then we're going to look for the braking zone where we look for the first white line which crosses it, and then we're going to brake halfway about in between that and the second white line. And then down into second gear, as tight into the apex again as you can, then hard on the power through the exit. The lap was not perfect, but I should have really done a 2 minutes 15.5 I think on one lap, but I messed it up a bit. But as you can see there's potential in the lap. This wasn't really a lap that I pushed too hard. I only did I had a quick little session after changing a few setup changes on it. So there was definitely a low 15 with no assist, remember, running. With assists on, you can definitely get in the 14s I think with this RUF round here. Anyway, we'll run through the setup changes that I made and some other changes that I think might help the car through the low qualifying run, which I'll go through now. Okay, so we'll run through the changes now that you can make in some of the stuff I've done for the setup. There's a quick little summary there of the basics of the setup, but we'll go through the setup more in depth now. Basically, there's a few changes that I'll probably make. I'll probably lower the tyre pressures down to 185, maybe lower on the fronts, and maybe another 2 to 187 on the rear for the qualifying for the Rouge, just to give a bit more stability through there. For the race though, I may raise it up a bit just to keep the temperatures under control a little bit, but the tyre temps aren't really an issue on Spa with the RUF anyway, so brake pressures could probably also go up to 77%, maybe a little bit higher, especially for the race, maybe 78%. Brake duct for the race, obviously you will need to increase it. For qualifying with mechanicals off, even with it on, you can probably run 5% to 0%. Gearing, no change in these because you can't really do much now. Limited slip 15%. You can go slightly higher than that and then maybe increase the preload, which might help out through a Rouge, or you could lower the acceleration slip to 12 and then maybe take the preload down to 0. It's options that I've got that I still need to test, but there are options that you can do to test as well and to find your own preference. Also lowering the bump stop on the rear might help with the stability for a Rouge. It's just little things that I haven't had time to fully test out, but it still worked for the lap. As you can see, it's just a lot of a Rouge is just getting that right line through there without hitting the curb on the right. As you can see now, the bump stops, I went for a little softer setting on a lot of stuff through the front because we want front end grip for Sparks. It's not all about that front end from a lot of the fast corners. One thing I would probably do is maybe raise the rear ride height and the front maybe slightly, maybe have 62, 67 to help out again over the curb, and also on the rebounds on the rear, I'd soften them a little bit more just to help out over the curbs. As you can see there, the cambers were pretty normal to what I run on most tracks, but 0.2 on this track. Tried 0.3 and you just got understeer through a Rouge, 0.1 and then you just get a massive oversteer. So 0.2 for me is a perfect combination. Anyway guys, I hope this setup has helped you out, and I'll have more coming soon.